Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here.
Yes.
It's very fun that today's episode is
called It's Perfect.
because Shya's holding baby, our kitten. She's kind of quiet.
She's almost a cat now.
She is. And it's perfect.
She's just hanging out with us and letting me hold her. It has been. Things have just started to change a little bit.
Yeah,
yep.
There we go.
Don't jump.
Well, you can jump, just don't scratch us.
Yeah, the scratch is what I didn't want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, welcome to being here. We're not going anywhere, but our kitten is. I'm going to take her over and put her on the desk. And
see ya.
Bye, kitty. Today, why not? Let's listen.
Yeah. Let's listen. I was thinking of a poem as I was coming up Gravel Hill Road from going shopping just a little while ago. And it's by Saint John de la Cruz, who was a monk, I believe in the 17th century, but I'm not sure. And he wrote a poem called Something I Don't Know, that I might come on randomly. You know, we filter life through what we know. So we see what we expect to see. But life can surprise us if we allow what's going on to come into us without filtering it through what we already know. And that's what most of us do regarding listening. We don't truly listen. We hear what we know to hear. We hear what we have a context to hold, but we do not just listen. And without agreeing or disagreeing, without thinking I already know this. Listening is a skill set that you can develop, and it will allow you to access your life. Not your thoughts about your life, but your experience of your life. And the experience of living is very different than the concept of living. The concept of living is, well, blood pumps through my veins.
It's kind of like the concept of love versus the experience of love, or the concept orgasm versus the experience orgasm.
Well, it depends on the orgasm.
Well, that's true. Every once in a while you get a squeaky one and it's kind of like, well, that was kind of conceptual.
More like a thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we are. We suggest that you allow for something new.
I will.
Allow for a new possibility, which is your life showing up the way it does, not the way you'd prefer. And get off on it.
I've known Shya now for
38
years. And that sounded good, a little tea.
Oh, that was good tea.
And we've also known our guests for a number of years that people will be calling in soon. And why not have our experience of each other be new? Stress comes when you think about the past and the things that you didn't like about it, or the things that you did like that you want to hold on to, and then project off into the future, as opposed to simply being here right now with all of your life circumstances. I really found that around the election process.
Oh, yeah.
How when things swung a direction I didn't like, I found it a challenge not to have my body get physically stressed along with my thought processes of, oh no.
I cannot agree with you more.
So it's been a really lovely experience of let go. Today could be a possibility for you to let go of all those things that are important to you. It doesn't make them any less important, but lobbying to get what you want creates stress. Being here allows you to take action, should you so choose, to produce what you want or support what you want. But being here is a restful experience.
But it's not passive.
It is not. Because
It's
when
an
you're being here,
active
you can,
engagement in what's happening in your environment.
which is one of the things that Shya really loves. I do too, but he was talking to me about it today, about our cat, that she is so here and so directed. It is very active a lot of the time, but she's not thinking about the mouse she missed or the bird she can't get to, or what she's hoping to have for dinner. She's right here, right now, and we're inviting you to join her. Shall we have our first guest
Oh,
come?
please, let's, because
All right.
otherwise I'm going to stop pontificating.
All right. Susan.
Hi, this is Susan. Hi, this is Susan from New York City. It's so great to be here with you guys.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love the title of this show, and I realized that looking back at my day yesterday, I had a perfect day yesterday. And it really surprised me. I went down to where my folks live. I stayed with my mother, who's quite elderly, and I stayed with her the whole day while my father went to have tests. He's going to have heart surgery in a few weeks. And we had a most magnificent day. We took walks. I read to her. She said, "You're a really good reader." And I just entertained her. I cleaned. I made her laugh. We both laughed so much. It was a surprise how much fun we had together. I don't think I've spent an entire day with my mother, just her and I, ever. And today I thought, wow, looking back, that was so perfect. And I didn't go into it saying, okay, well, I'm going to read to her and I'm going to do this and that. It just happened. It just unfolded beautifully. But today my thoughts are, ooh, I want to do that next time because I'll be down for the day of the surgery. I want to replicate that. How do I? That's my question.
Well, if you try to do that, you will have a miserable time. Almost guaranteed. Because you see, everything is new. Each moment is a new universe of possibility. You cannot replicate the past. The past will not show up again the same way it did, unless, of course, you filter it through your system of interpretation of life, and then every day is a repeat of the past.
Yeah.
But when you're really present, everything is new. I mean, I've been with Ariel for 38 years, and I look at her and I say, who is this person? A new person. Even though we think alike.
We often finish each other's sentences.
She was going to say hoover my head.
I did. I was see he's hoovered mine. You know, as far as I can tell, because I was around you prior to your being with your folks and staying the day with your mom, and also from what you're saying now, you had options when you went there, possibilities of things you could do, but as far as I can tell, you didn't have a plan.
True.
It wasn't even I'm going to be with her. And I was on the phone with you yesterday when you were with her, and you said, I need to go now. I have to help my mom go to the bathroom.
Right.
You needed to, I don't know if she was unstable or what process it was that you needed to be a part of, but you didn't pre-plan that at 3:02 you were going to speak to Ariel, and at 3:05 you were going to get off because, you know, Mom, it's time to pee.
Right.
It was, you were there to interact with her and be with her.
I like how you said what you said, because your day unfolded. And you see, your life is an unfolding. Each moment is new and unique, and it shows up the way it does. And you can either groove with that or resist that. If you resist the way it's showing up, you get stuck in that stuff that you say you don't like. If you allow it to be exactly as it is and enjoy the process. Now, this is interesting. It completes itself in an instant. A few weeks ago, I had a urinary tract infection.
Yes.
It was not pleasant. Going to the hospital and having a catheter installed was not pleasant, but it was my preference because it was necessary. And so I told them, look, I need a catheter.
Right.
That's what I told them when I showed up there.
And they checked him out and they said, sir, you need a catheter. He said, oh, good. And the doctor said, that is the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. He said, well, I know I need it. So I'm happy that I'm going to be able to have it.
Right.
See, you can engage in your life like it's your idea, or you can become the victim of the circumstance. And most people are the victim of the circumstances of their life.
There's a couple. Did you have more to that?
Well, yes and no. I was about to get political,
well, then don't.
And I'm not going to. So that was the yes and the no.
I want to talk to Susan about something I find a couple of really neat things I found in what you had to say about your day with your mom. First is that you, to your adult recollection, haven't spent a day with her on her own, maybe ever. And I think it's quite notable that you were not only willing and able, but you were actually there with her rather than diverting off to other things. And that includes directing her attention or your attention to worry. Wonder how dad is doing. That you could have easily sent her there so you weren't actually with her. And how wonderful that your dad went off and did the tests and, which was a full day down in Philadelphia, and that you two could be there together intimately, not having your focus on something you could do nothing about.
True.
That you used it as an
opportunity
for intimacy.
It reminds me of the poem that you mentioned at the top of the show, Shya, because I didn't intend to have my mother delight me or for me to feel.
Yeah. As I was driving up Gravel Hill Road, I started reciting the poem. Something I don't know that I may come on randomly. And then I said, and I hope to hell it's not a deer.
Because they can jump right in front of you.
Jump in front of you, And we live in the country.
I was driving Susan out to her parents' house, and I saw there was a doe, a female deer, Bambi, a little bit older, so it didn't have spots. So it was like a half-grown yearling, and a buck. And I'm like, look, Susan. And she saw the doe and the young Bambi, and she did not see the buck standing right next to her. I'm like, no, look at that deer. And there was a whole rack. It was such a perfect illustration.
You can't see what you don't know to look for.
That's right. You look for what you look for, and everything else is excluded because it was definitely there. But somebody who's used to driving around in deer country, I'm often scanning for them to make sure they don't hit my car, but also because I find the buck so fantastic.
Yeah.
Majestic creature. Thank you for it. Was weird that you noticed because I was turning away from you. All you saw was my back. And you knew I was not seeing the buck. It was very cool.
Yeah, you don't want to pass the buck.
Well, you do want to pass the buck in this case, because otherwise you might hit it.
Yes.
But it was also fun too, because the moment I slowed down and we were looking at it, the change in the car's speed he alerted him, and he ran. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So we got to see it standing and running.
Yeah.
And it was perfect.
It was.
Maybe we should rewrite the title of the show to be perfect, because you're holding.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
She doesn't purr very much.
She
But
does
when
in the
she
middle of
does-
the night. You're just not awake for most of it. Yeah,
Well,
but
she purrs when she wants me to feed her.
that's right. She's a big purr kitten for feeding, and that's perfect too.
But while she was lying on my chest when I was taking a nap, she was purring.
Yeah.
And she came over all on her own and did that.
So nice when you're not having to manipulate her to express herself.
Yes. That's the thing that I so try not to do, is manipulate this kitten to have her love me. See, and that's where relationship goes sour so frequently, when you do something to get what you think you want, like the cat to purr,
Yeah.
or the cat to like you. And I realized that I am very male. And so I'm very, I engage with her physically, with energy. And she doesn't really like that. She likes it when she can come over and tell me she loves me by biting me on the face.
Oh.
Nipping.
A little nip.
Little nip.
Little on the bridge of the nose,
That's her favorite.
That's
For Shya.
Or eyebrow. She'll nibble on an eyebrow. But it's when she expresses herself. If I see, and most people in relationship are insecure, so they want that other person to behave in a way that they want them to behave, without rather allowing them to express themselves the way they are. And it changes. It changes in each moment.
Kitty has a different. She doesn't nip me as often. She likes to either stand on my head or scrabble through my hair. So we have fun.
Yep, we have fun discovering who we are via the cat.
Yes.
By the way, I know we're just about done here. We're moving through on to the next segment shortly. But it occurs to me that something I was going to announce at the beginning of the next segment is the Speak Up course that is upcoming next week on December 2nd, the 16th, and the 9th. That's in between the two. With
So
Susan.
the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th.
Wednesday evenings. Susan and I are co-leading it. It's going to be fun.
It will be. And Shya will be there as well.
You keep saying that, you guys, so I guess I'll have to be.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Special guest star,
Yeah.
Shya Kane. So you're invited if you want to know about it.
Go to Transformation Made Easy, not difficult, easy.com.
And you'll get to see a picture of what Susan looks like, and also read her very, very impressive bio. So that's my little carrot. Hey, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, such a pleasure. Thank you.
It's time for our listener feedback spotlight.
Okay, so here we go.
We're going to hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life. Let's see.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about what we're up to, you could register for any of our upcoming virtual courses.
Or sign up for our newsletter. Just visit
transformationmadeeasy.com.
It really is easy.
It is easy if you know the way.
Hi, I'm David. I'm actually in Manhattan at the moment. And I actually have to say that so much has changed in my life. That's not an exaggeration. So much has changed ever since I started coming to the Monday evening seminars with Shya and Ariel. I really wanted to thank not just them, but everyone in the community, how they've all helped me to actually grow as a person. And I hope to continue to grow and be more successful the more I'm willing to listen. Thank you.
If you would like to experience an expanded sense of well-being, join us. Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive global video seminars. Participate in any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Welcome back.
Yeah, life is perfect.
Yes, it is.
We started recording this segment because everything's pre-recorded now. And we realized we had the wrong dates for our January seminar. It was still left over as if we were doing it in person. Now that it's virtual, we do it on Saturday and Sundays only. So Step Into Your Brilliance is our January seminar. It's the 9th and the 10th, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be fun, lively, a chance to spring into the new year as opposed to resolve to be a better you.
Resolve, like in resolution.
Yeah, forget the resolution.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
New Year's come and I resolved to do better in school, and I never did. Isn't that funny?
Well, when you make resolutions, generally you're resisting how you've been.
That's right, and how you're going to be.
And you decide to be a better you.
First principle, anything you resist, you perpetuate.
Yeah. All right, should we take our
next
guest?
Let's. Ursula. In St. Gallen, Switzerland.
There you are.
Hey, yes, this is Ursula from St. Gallen, Switzerland.
I wish people could see you. You look so beautiful.
Yes, you do.
And it always looks like you're sitting in a throne when you're in your big gold chair. So, Queen Ursula, what can we do for you today?
Well, speaking from my comfortable throne, I am a piano and a singing teacher. And I work at a high school, and at the moment the schools are a bit a challenge because of the pandemic, and we are and you can sort of feel in the air the vibes of and I had today the first student who asked me, "Do you think we will close again?" And I was like, I don't know. What do you think? And she said, I don't know. And we just sat there for a moment, not knowing, and sort of feeling a bit how uncertainty felt. And it was just such an intimate moment. And I can't thank you enough, because I've been teaching for over 40 years. And you said before I listened to the invitation to step into your brilliance. And before I knew you, I knew there was brilliance, but I didn't know that it was already there. And I just had to step into it. And so do my students. It was just such a brilliant moment, a brilliant question. She picked up the vibes, and I had the grace and the honesty to say, I don't know. And
I want to talk about that for just a moment, because most of us, when meeting uncertainty, or you're a young student who might have been nervous or feeling insecure, that reflex often is to try to make it better, as opposed to
being honest.
Exactly.
Especially as her teacher, teachers are supposed to know, where allowing yourself to not know makes it safe for her to not know. And from there, it's not actually step into your brilliance. It's more like fall into the brilliance that you're already being. Yes, experience it.
Yes, it's just so revolutionized my teaching, because I'm now teaching a human being and not somebody who wants to learn about fingerings and techniques on the piano or the singing, but it's in connection with a human being, and to learn that they are not who I met last week it's just I keep being reminded, because of course I have a plan.
Well, you know something, Ursula.
Yeah.
If you expect them to be who you met last week, they will be who you met last week. But you could discover who shows up each lesson, and you'll discover a new being with new possibilities for those people that they couldn't have imagined for themselves.
Well, I actually hope Susan is still listening, because this is something I wanted to touch on while I was speaking with her about her mom, but I forgot. When you know that the student you have this week may have the same name, may live in the same place, have the same parents, but they're not the same person. You're seeing who walks in the door. It allows you to be appropriate. Of course, you're not the same person either. You've had an entire week's worth of experiences, or in some cases, non-experience. If there's something you didn't want to see and you don't experience it, and then you're upset, and then you turn to your student and you're through those glasses of upset. But part of what had Susan's time with her mom be so successful is she didn't know who she was going to meet. And if you have the expectation that you know who's going to be walking through your door, rather than it being an unfolding or
something you don't know that you come on randomly,
then when that happens, then there's these moments,
magic shows up.
Like you just described. I am certain that you heard her concern, you met her where she was, and it was extremely intimate.
The other thing is this: you have had the gift of being introduced to our work. You know, that most teachers don't have that ability to listen to another person and fully be there listening, rather than scheming how they're going to control the way life shows up. Most of the teachers in your high school are upset, and they don't even realize how upset they are. You notice your upsets and they dissolve, because you have the technology of instantaneous transformation. Not that you try to manipulate the upsets to dissolve, but if you allow yourself to feel it, it goes away.
Yeah, they do. Yes.
Yes.
I'm still surprised sometimes.
You know, it's really neat. I know that we have a lot of educators in our community, and you're talking about and demonstrating something. A lot of every teacher I know has a curriculum that they need to teach, and certain benchmarks their students need to make before the end of the year or before the time where they are doing the grading. And so often when they come into the room with a student, that agenda takes precedence. Like, today we're going to get through this part of the curriculum.
Yes.
Or I have to make sure I push this student or encourage the student or cajole the student into learning what's on my list of things for them to do, like you're saying, the fingering, and how on the piano. It's interesting that you're discovering that when you're being with your students, and you have the curriculum, you're aware of it, but the curriculum starts to take care of itself. It's not something you need to drive toward to make happen.
That is so true, because the curriculum, it doesn't only include what I planned for this lesson. There is like a bigger plan I have in my head anyway. So they sometimes just change. We're doing this today. All right, we're doing this.
So the order in which you do it switches.
Yeah, the order switches around.
Awesome.
And that's so much more fun because it's obviously in the room, and we get to do things that I would have never planned. Never.
That's
Life
awesome.
is so full of surprises. It's surprising me.
Your life is,
Yes.
not everybody's life is. Life can be full of surprises, but most people are trying not to be surprised.
Uh-huh.
Most people want to have life show up the way they know it and the way it's been showing up because they've survived in that. They've managed that. But if it shows up differently, it becomes threatening to their survival, which is upsetting. And that's why most people are walking around upset because they're in disagreement with the way life is showing up in each moment.
I like watching movies from time to time, but I often prefer watching a movie for a second time because I know where it's going. And then I can see the nuances of it. I don't have to be worried for the characters, although sometimes you still get worried for the characters, even though you know they're going to be fine in the end. People like to control what's coming.
Or think they're controlling what's coming.
Well, in a movie that's already...
yeah, you have no control over what's coming.
Over that.
But maybe you have no control of what's coming anyway. Maybe life is all a movie.
Yeah, I've been really observing that during this year. We really don't know, and it puts a freshness back into things too. I mean, it is concerning sometimes, challenging sometimes, but it's so it forces us to, or forces me to see everything in the moment right now. What's today? And it's yeah.
Well, behind our monitor here on the wall, we have the calendar for 2020 that I produced. We produced, but I put together with pictures and all of the different dates. And we put it together a year ago, August. Who knew that 90% of this would be inaccurate?
Well, the other day we went to the hotel in New York City where we've been leading seminars for several years and picked up all the materials that were left behind there.
That we had stored there from week to week.
Because we are no longer doing seminars there in person.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how many calendars I put into the recycle.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what's why I'm talking about this is you say that this situation, the COVID situation, forces us to realize that you just don't know what's coming. Well, we never knew what was coming. We just thought we did.
That is so true, yeah.
Because had I known that when we went off to wherever we were going in early March, that we would no longer need any calendars, I never would have ordered that many back in August.
Yes.
But you just don't know.
So you plan like you're going to live forever and live like you're going to die tomorrow.
I think that's a Gandhi quote.
Yes.
It's a good quote. It's not mine.
Quote.
I just retweet it, you see.
You're funny.
Well, Ursula, you have no idea how much pleasure I am having seeing you as self-expressive and lovely as you are.
Well, thank you. You did have something to do with that.
Well, yes and no.
But
yes, we did, but you
are responsible, not us.
Yeah.
You have brought yourself into an environment that supports you into being as self-expressive and as great as you are, rather than self-suppressive.
And you do it with consistency.
Yeah, we can count on you.
You have come to many of our in-person seminars, but you also regularly attend the virtual ones that we have on Monday night. In your time, it's midnight. And we often see you from midnight to 2 a.m. You are a school teacher. I don't think your students suffer nor you suffer the next day when you go to school.
No, I feel refreshed.
Yes.
And boy, they are so great. I love them. I mean,
Well, here's the thing. You see their greatness because you see your greatness. And when you were unwilling to be great, they were little pains in the butts.
uh-huh. Yeah. Well, it's really been maintaining my saneness, it really has.
I know we have listeners all over the world, and this is the level of participation that a lot of people are comfortable with. They like listening to podcasts, and I'm so happy, and shout out to all you listeners that populate our show and listen to people like Ursula and listen to the two of us. But I also know there are a number of people who often have the impulse to come to a Monday or a Saturday or a Tuesday, and then the idea of figuring out how to do it or registering or doing something new or Zoom itself is daunting. And there we go. Something just said video of the month recording. It's all bing, 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 something. I'm being reminded that we are.
That rings a bell.
That's kind of like your mind reminding you to do what you're already doing.
Yes.
Like you put on your blinker and you're turning and your mind says turn left while you're turning your car to the left. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I admire you. I also know that there are people who are contemplating joining us. You'll get to meet Ursula in person.
Oh, yes. Just
in person via Zoom.
In person via Zoom.
Yeah.
That's right. It's all safe. We have our own little windows to speak.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
By the way, next week's show is called Happiness Happens.
Oh.
Thanks, Ursula.
Thank you, Ursula.
Thanks for being with us, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss
being here.